the Filecoin team, and I'm excited to be hosting today's event. Yeah, we're going to be hearing from various team members today about how SpaceRace went. We're going to be announcing our winners and looking at the rankings, and then hear about some exciting stuff that we have coming up as well. Before we get started, I just genuinely want to say again, thank you to everyone who was involved in SpaceRace, from the team preparing it to the overall Filecoin community, especially the miners. I could not be happier with how SpaceRace went. I think there's a few reasons why SpaceRace was as exciting and as successful as it was, and why I'm so pleased with it. On the face of it, obviously, 230 petabytes is the big number, and that's kind of rightly taking up a lot of the focus, because that is an incredible amount of storage, and I don't mind saying it's way more than I was expecting. I think we set 100 petabytes as kind of an ambitious goal when we were speccing things out, and y'all just completely blew that away. And I can't tell you how excited that makes me for mainnet itself, if we could get 230 petabytes on a testnet. In addition to that, though, and honestly, more importantly, I feel like SpaceRace almost felt like the moment when this thing that we're putting together stopped being, a project. Filecoin stopped being a project that, a small team was building and became like a broader community thing, if that makes sense. Like, it was during SpaceRace that for the first time, the issues coming in were entirely being reported by miners themselves, oftentimes with folks were going, this is the particular problem and this is how you solve it, and maybe just opening PRs directly, which was fantastic. All of the network upgrades that we were doing, get the support that we got for those kinds of things, they would have all just flopped. But so, yeah, very grateful that folks were very communicative with us, pointed out issues, were open to upgrading fairly quickly sometimes, and it really made us feel good about mainnet. So thank you, everyone. Yeah, and having said that, today is honestly just a big party. We want to celebrate everyone who worked on SpaceRace and who made it the success that it was. We're going to be hearing from various members of the team. Yeah, so first off, I think we're going to hear from Colin, who leads the ecosystem efforts here at Team Filecoin. So I'm going to invite Colin to come talk about some of the stuff he's got going on. Colin?
All right. Can you hear me, Aayush?
Yeah, you're coming in great.
Fantastic. Hi, everyone. And welcome to the big SpaceRace celebration. My name is Colin, but my friends call me Proto Colin, as many of you know, and I'm the ecosystem lead for the Filecoin project. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone here joining us on the call today, and to all the miners for participating in SpaceRace and in the Filecoin ecosystem. Now, while the main event here is celebrating you, this incredible and diverse set of miners that participated in SpaceRace and are joining us from all over the world, I want to take just a few minutes today to focus on the incredible broader momentum in the Filecoin ecosystem, and to highlight the developers, the organizations, the applications, the projects, and the people that are actively building on the network today. So as you know, Filecoin's mission is to create a decentralized, efficient, and robust foundation for humanity's information. We truly believe that humanity's most valuable resource is information, and we're incredibly passionate about storing and protecting that valuable resource in an efficiently priced and distributed way. This means addressing some of the major problems with today's storage infrastructure, decentralizing the cloud away from a small number of centralized providers, giving users full control over their data, turning data storage pricing into an efficient market, allowing the network to set prices rather than a corporate pricing department, making storage verifiable, and lastly, optimizing the world's storage, putting the zettabytes of latent storage capacity around the world to work. But what I really want to emphasize upfront here is that Filecoin is not just software. Filecoin is a rapidly growing ecosystem of thousands of talented people working towards a common goal. And that momentum is like a high-speed train that cannot be stopped. Every day, more talented developers and entrepreneurs and partners and community members join the ecosystem. And it's the collective strength and growth of that ecosystem that makes Filecoin incredibly unique. It's also why my job as the ecosystem lead is incredibly easy, because of this organic interest externally. So I'm going to separate this presentation into two parts. First, I'll highlight some of the incredible organizations that are already investing tremendously in the Filecoin network and collaborating on testnet. And second, I'll highlight the more than 250 teams and more than 1,000 people that are entering the Filecoin ecosystem through hackathons and accelerators. So we'll start with the first one right now. So first, we're obviously tremendous benefactors of the IPFS ecosystem, which has been growing roughly 10 times every year. The community of IPFS applications will always be a critical user of Filecoin, particularly for persistent storage. And so we're making it easy for those applications to use Filecoin. Second, the number of open source developers that are contributing to the protocol increases every day. I just checked this number before getting on the call, and that number is close to 1,600 contributors, so it continues to increase every month. And so the result of those two is a landscape of applications, clients, token infrastructure, developer tooling, protocol implementations, infrastructure, and ecosystem partners that are exploding in the Filecoin ecosystem. And so I'm going to go through just a few of these boxes and highlight just a subset of them. And I'm excited to have this presentation again every month to show you the new applications and partners that join every week. So we'll start with applications and clients. I'll go through these quickly. Fleek's Space application is an open source and private storage, sharing, and collaboration platform built on Filecoin, IPFS, and PowerGate. So you can think of Space as a private, encrypted, peer-to-peer version of Dropbox or Google Drive. And as you can see, it's beautifully designed. Next up, in the DeFi world of Filecoin, there's a whole host of applications popping up, including the two that Codify is leading today. A collateralized loan marketplace for Filecoin that allows token holders to lend Filecoin to other stakeholders using Ethereum smart contracts, and a miner marketplace that allows miners to announce pricing and availability to the marketplace and browse by clients. Voodify, Bidle Labs, and others are building decentralized video applications on top of LivePeer and Filecoin technology stacks today. And OpenBazaar and Haven have already integrated Filecoin as a payment mechanism to their decentralized marketplace. They finished the Trezor Blockbook implementation milestone just recently, and this is just an awesome use for Filecoin. In addition, Filecoin Discover will seed the network with really valuable and culturally important data sets, including many of the logos that you see here. And finally, Slate is a best-in-class experience for uploading, collecting, and sharing media. If you haven't tried Slate yet, please do so. It's just an absolutely delightful way to store files and share media with your friends. Next up is the developer tooling providers. So I'll start off with PowerGate, which is one of the most popular developer toolkits that allows any developer to deploy multi-tier storage across Filecoin and IPFS. This has been in the works for over 9 months now and is used by a wide variety of applications as a fundamental developer tooling layer of Filecoin. Truffle actually just recently released Preserve, which simplifies the process of preserving long-lived application data on IPFS and Filecoin. And they're working on a Ganache UI integration, which allows developers to spin up a local Filecoin simulator for quick development and testing. Now, continuing on our cross-chain use cases, we talked about Ethereum and some of the bridges that we're doing there in the DeFi world, but we also funded P2P.org, which is working on a multi-blockchain ETL for Polkadot and Filecoin. And Ethereum Classic just recently announced this week that they're adding support for Filecoin through an open RPC for Lotus. Finally, Protoschool has released a set of courses to onboard new developers onto Filecoin, and this has been an important on-ramp as well. Lastly, in terms of token infrastructure, there are just a number of wallets that are now supporting Filecoin, including Ledger, which actually supports Filecoin today. You can download it and use it as we speak. The Glyph self-hosted web wallet, which is a self-hosted web wallet with the Ledger integration. You should really check it out. It's an amazing experience. MetaMask support, which is available shortly, and Trust Wallet, which is also coming shortly as well. In addition, there are a number of custody solutions that we're working with to help investors secure their Filecoin on launch, including Coinbase, Gemini, and Anchorage. So that was a quick rapid fire review of the 85 or more existing organizations that are already collaborating on the network today. And I want to shift gears to the on-ramps for the thousands of new developers and entrepreneurs that are entering the Filecoin ecosystem. And by doing that, I want to highlight Filecoin Ignite, which is a set of events that allows folks to learn, build, and launch businesses, applications, and organizations onto Filecoin. First, HackFS was this incredible hackathon put on by ETH Global completely independently. It was a month-long hackathon that hosted 470 hackers, 34 projects submitted, over 50 countries, 19 time zones, and over 50 public events that you can watch on YouTube anytime you'd like. This sponsors included Ethereum Foundation, Consensus, Textile, Fleek, and many, many others. And you can go to the HackFS showcase and look at over 130 completely functional applications that were developed during this hackathon. Next up was Spark Hackathon, and this was run by Spark University. And the overall hackathon had participation including 800 participants, 100 teams, 40 universities, 6 continents, and more. And in total, 30 teams built projects on the Filecoin network, including many of the universities that you see on the page today. Now, beyond hackathons, there are other various ways that folks can get mentorship and build their products and projects and businesses on Filecoin. One is called Apollo, and Apollo is powered by an organization called Gitcoin, and it's a 6-week mentorship program for a community of Filecoin builders and makers. There are currently 130 Apollo fellows and 50 teams in the program, and that was whittled down to, from over 400 applications. And these are founders who have founded over 25 tech companies, builders from Consensus, Cisco, Oxford, Stanford, Google, and top contributors to projects like IPFS, OrbitDB, SourceCred, and Textile, and over 40 countries represented. We think a number of these projects are going to emerge from Apollo stronger and more functional and more useful to the community than ever. And Filecoin Launchpad. This is run by Tachyon, which is a part of Consensus Labs. And this is an accelerator program for 15 to 20 teams that are building serious companies and organizations on the Filecoin network. They'll receive $80,000 in investment, 3 months of intense mentorship, and they'll participate in a demo day where they can attract and raise further investment from venture capitalists and other organizations. And so 100 total, or over 100 applications came in across 15 countries, across a variety of use cases. We're almost ready to announce the cohort. It should be happening in the next couple of days. I've seen the teams. They are absolutely incredibly powerful and incredibly advanced. And so I'm really, really excited to track the progress of this particular program. And finally, there's many, many more to come. I can't announce it today, but there's another accelerator program that'll be budding in Asia, actually, that we'll announce in the next couple of weeks. And there are many, many more events like that that are going to come up as well. So stepping back, I did want to emphasize that Filecoin is just a rapidly growing ecosystem of thousands of talented people working towards a common goal. And the stat that I keep going back to in my own head is that only 7% of the world's data that gets generated actually gets stored today. And that ratio is decreasing over time, not increasing. And the reason for that is it's not that we don't want to store humanity's most valuable information data. It's because the options available today are either too expensive, or you have to ask a company or a central authority. Or storage doesn't have the properties that you're looking for, that it's verifiable or decentralized or encrypted. So our focus is coming in here and storing the 93% of data that the world creates every day that doesn't get stored. And absolutely, this ecosystem cannot be fueled by the miners that are on this call, that participated in SpaceRace, and that participate in our community today. So I'll just kick off the session with a heartfelt thank you to the organizations and individuals that are so committed to developing the Filecoin mining ecosystem. This is obviously just a subset of logos of the hundreds of organizations that are on SpaceRace and on testnet today. So thank you for believing in our mission. Thank you for participating in SpaceRace, and thank you for investing in the testnet to make sure it's safe and secure. You're all helping make Filecoin a huge reality, and we're super excited and grateful to be building alongside you. And with that, I'll pass it back to Aayush.
Thank you, Colin. I gotta say, every time you give one of these talks, it seems like the number of collaborations has just like doubled in the past week. It's also great to see just how well designed some of these things are, just from like the appearance to the user experience from having tried them out. It's really cool. And yeah, thank you again to everyone who's working on this stuff, and thanks to you. All right, so next up, now let's get into the meat of it. Next up, we have Ian, who leads the operations at Filecoin. I'm sure by this point, Ian is a very familiar face to some of you watching, given that he and Mosh are kind of in charge of a whole bunch of the space race details, and you all have probably communicated with him. So he's going to come up to talk about the final standings of the Space Race 1 competition. Ian, you want to jump on?
Thank you very much, Aayush. Miners, hello. It's great to see you. I'm sure that you've missed talking with me at all hours of the day and night, which is essentially what we've done for the last 3 weeks. I hope that you got as much sleep as I did in the last week, which is definitely more than in the previous 3 weeks. It's good to see you all again. First and foremost, of course, congratulations to all of you. We'll get into the details, but in the final tally for SpaceRace, 358 winners, 34 countries, 6 continents, more than 150,000 successful storage and retrieval deals. Unbelievable performance by all of you. Aayush has mentioned it. I have to repeat them. Just amazing performance, dramatically exceeded the world's expectations, to say nothing of the Filecoin team. So congratulations to all of you. In addition to the raw numbers, right, we also had, a further development of this incredible community that's growing around Filecoin. 18 community events and videos, thousands of attendees, tens of thousands of views of those videos. We're really starting to see some momentum here. It's incredible. More than 100 improvements to Lotus based on feedback that we gathered through SpaceRace. So, as we reminded everyone repeatedly throughout the competition, the primary goal here was to improve the software, and we've done that to really an impressive degree as a result of all the feedback and improvements that you submitted for Lotus. Thank you. Some really impressive community leaders emerged throughout this process. As much as our team tried our best to support, it was, you all saw that it was quite overwhelming at points during the competition. Tons of people stepped up, wrote guides, provided support in channels, helped each other troubleshoot, helped each other configure setups, helped each other optimize setups. Really, really cool. So thank you to everyone on this list who was formally recognized during the competition, as well as dozens of others. Filecoin is only as great as the community that surrounds it, and these people and many others contributed tremendously to that community. So with that said, the part that everyone's been waiting for, the rewards. So when we were reviewing the competition standings, it became clear that the original rules were quite challenging. Just to recap, we were rewarding the top 100 miners globally and the top 50 in each continent. We were checking as a pass-fail that each miner had greater than an 80% storage and deal success rate. We had some further rewards for the top 20 block producers. And the combined result of these is that by the end of the competition, about 2.8 million Filecoin would have been distributed by 164 qualifying miners. Unbelievable performance by these miners. Despite this incredibly challenging competition, there were in fact people who persevered and made it through. I sort of think of these as like the iron Filecoin miners. So amazingly impressed by their work. But likewise, there were tons of other people in the competition who also did incredibly impressive work. And so as we were reviewing the final standings and making some tweaks and changes and additions, wanted to make sure that we reflected the depth of work that was performed by many, many, many participants. So we made a few upgrades to the reward structure. The first upgrade, which will be news to no one because we discussed it during the competition, is a minimum miner reward. So for miners who passed the original deal success rate, but were on the smaller side of the standings, we've applied sort of a floor to the rewards that they could receive. So for miners who made it to the 1 terabyte mark, actually we bumped this up, so it's to about 900 gigabytes. You have a minimum of 500 Filecoin for your reward, and for miners who peaked above 10 terabytes, it's a minimum of 1,000. This reward added 111 miners who wouldn't have been on the leaderboard at all, and then bumped up the rewards of an additional 62 miners who would have been receiving rewards below this threshold. Total rewards granted by this, as opposed to the original competition rules, was about 105,000 Filecoin. Second upgrade is one that I'm quite proud of. We added a thing called cube root rewards. So when we were reviewing the reward structure, we noticed that, especially to get a sort of smaller mining setup going, the ratio of effort to storage power is not linear. There's a real fixed cost to figuring out the complexity around Filecoin at the beginning. So to compensate for this, we have a metric where we took the cube root of eligible miner storage power and then split 500,000 Filecoin between all miners pro rata based on this. I'll be posting a link at the end of the session, but you'll see that this had a pretty significant effect on rewards for many people. So this is another 500,000 Filecoin going out to the community. And finally, we had an often requested feature. This is the partial deal success reward. We noticed that the sort of hard cutoff of 80% was pretty rough, and there were lots of teams that were actively troubleshooting and doing good work throughout the competition, but for whatever reason fell just below the threshold. And that's not a good time for anyone. That's not the intended behavior. So this reward creates a continuum as you go from 10%. So we combined the deal success reward by simply adding together all of the storage and success attempts versus successes. As that ratio goes from 10% to just below 80%, these miners are eligible for rewards going from 0 to 80% of the average rewards in each region. That's a mouthful. Give you a second to review the slide. I can make a graph and post it in Slack after this if that would be helpful. Bottom line is, if you're a miner who was just below the 80% cutoff, or even if you're a miner who is at 50% or 30%, this upgrade is going to help you see some rewards and see some of your effort that went into the competition recognized. The total rewards from this were just over 97,000 Filecoin to a bunch of miners who wouldn't have otherwise been eligible for rewards. And finally, surprising reason or result, people were theorizing about this during the competition. Europe hit 5 petabytes. So as you all know, at the end of the competition, due to some congestion in the memory pool, we had some issues with people missing window posts and getting slashed in the last minute. We took the maximum of each miner's storage rather than just the end of contest number. And the result of that is that Europe just made it across that 5 petabyte line. So regional rewards for Europe, in this case, get bumped up from 100,000 to 250,000 Filecoin. That flows through to participants in the normal way. It's already been incorporated into all the other rewards that I talked about. So congratulations to Europe. The end result of all this is that we have 3.6 million Filecoin in total rewards. Again, I just want to take a second and say huge congratulations to all of the miners who participated in this. Amazing result from all of you. So very, very cool stuff. I also want to take a minute to recognize the very top performers in the competition. These are the miners who sort of just put everything they had into this competition. They had incredible deal success rates. They're ready on day one to serve and store lots and lots of real files for users. And a lot of them are going to be sort of providing the early backbone for the network. So really important to call these folks out. They put in tons of work, tons of effort, lots of sleepless nights. So it's their turn to be on the big stage here. So in the global leaderboard, so IPFS main, through their combined miner, was able to take that top spot. Also participated in tons of community events. Really cool performance by IPFS main. Thanks to Neo and his team for just being great members of the Filecoin community. Far from, it was a really close race at the top. So again, like really special recognition to the teams at 6 Block. Also tons of great community contributions. SC Cloud and Linden, again, really active in Slack, lots of support. IPFS Force, a real global competitor that's been providing lots of community help, also presented some events. And then Smart Cloud taking the number 5 spot. So just very, very cool teams. Congratulations to our global winners. Right, so the Africa region. Africa was a bit quieter. We had an interesting mix. There's some behind the scenes stuff here that's maybe not so obvious to participants, but in Africa and also South America, we really did have a huge mix of, some impressively run cloud operations, yes, but also a lot of just good old fashioned physical logistics happening. There was tons of hardware being shipped all over the world. There were folks in data centers in places like Nairobi and South Africa and a bunch of other places. And some of the folks in this list represent that. So huge congratulations to these teams. You took it sort of, you did the SpaceRace on hard mode in some ways and decided to set up capacity in regions where it was quite challenging. So great work. The Asia region, it's just, you'll notice that the top 5 here look a lot like the global leaderboard. Just a hugely impressive performance all around by all these teams. To recognize them again, because their work well deserves it. IPFS main, 6 Block, ST Cloud and Linden, IPFS Force, and Smart Cloud, just awesome work. And then because there was just such a strong performance here, I could have made this list incredibly long. Unfortunately, The slides have to have text of a certain size, right? But HelloPhil.com, IPFS Union, RR Mine, 1475, and ARS, you know, just really strong performances. Everyone on this list is well set up to be, you know, a really strong Filecoin miner going into the future. And I could have kept going into the 20s, 30s, 40s, and discussed many more. Europe region, we've got Yoda taking the top of the leaderboard. Yoda is actually a miner that's been active across the globe, but they've chosen to be anonymous here, and so I'll respect that. We've got LZT, and then we've got Butterfly. So these were all really impressive industrial mining operations set up in the Europe region. So congrats to all these participants. In the North America region, we've got Mace, we've got NA Filepool, and we've got Top Blocks. Again, just sort of like, you know, core infra providers here, really doing a ton of great work. And then in the Oceania region, we've got Hello World, nice anonymous name, very mysterious. We've got IPFS Cloud, we've got GPO BA Hash. So, and then finally South America, Peter, another nice nondescript name, KWJ Galaxy, and Madison Bay CRE, who through them and their affiliates had a couple of miners throughout the competition and saw tons of success. So just again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but amazing performance by all those folks. Amazing performance to the 300 plus miners who weren't on that list, but who qualified for rewards and did an amazing job during this competition. What about next steps? So immediately after this session ends, I will be posting a link to the final rewards to SpaceRace announcements channel in Slack. Please join there, take a look. In the next couple of days, keep an eye on your registration email address, because our partner CoinList will be reaching out to you. As you all know, you have to do some lightweight AML KYC so that we can compliantly send you rewards. They'll be reaching out to you for that, so you can, you know, work with them, and they'll also take your instructions for how to deliver these rewards. If you forgot to register, there's a few folks in the reward pools who just didn't register for whatever reason. Not the end of the world. Just please email mining@filecoin.io and we'll get you sorted. Again, huge congratulations. Thank you. Performed beyond everyone's wildest expectations during this competition. And I cannot wait to see where you take this Filecoin community next. I'll take it back to Aayush.
Great, thank you very much, Ian. Congratulations again to all of the miners, and thank you again to everyone who participated and helped make SpaceRace a success. Yeah, it was a great 3 weeks, and I think the real big takeaway is what Ian said, which is anyone who was like successful at SpaceRace is really well set up to run successfully at mainnet, and that's what we're all here for. So thanks again, and congratulations. Well done to everyone. All right, next up we have Mosh from the Filecoin team, another familiar face to everyone who is working with SpaceRace. And Mosh is going to be somewhat forward-looking, telling us about some exciting stuff that we have coming up. Mosh, over to you.
Thank you, Aayush, and thanks, Ian, and hello, miners. So, like Ian said, hopefully everyone got some rest, got to recalibrate, got to do some maintenance, some operations maintenance, both on their mining operations, but also on yourselves and your teams and your ability to come back even stronger. Because we are looking forward into the next phase of SpaceRace, which is called Orbital Burn for miners. And you might be asking, okay, why are we doing this again? I'm so tired. I kind of paced myself for this 3-week effort, and yet there is so much incredible momentum here. We wanted to find a way to continue that and build upon that for the next chapter as we head towards mainnet. So there's a couple important reasons, kind of 3 goals around why SpaceRace 2 is designed the way it is. And like any good rocket or spaceship countdown, I will count backwards. So in number 3, I think it's really this momentum that we all just marveled at and spoke about. So we onboarded collectively over 230 petabytes of storage across, I think it was over 400 miners in 6 continents. And there's just so much storage here, so much capacity, and so much excitement that we wanted to make sure we were able to kind of continue that straight into the next chapter and into mainnet in many ways. Number 2, I'm sure we all noticed during SpaceRace 1 that the the changes and the rapid software improvements and the stress testing kind of made for really exciting competition conditions. I'm sure it made it very stressful for miners, but it also massively improved the software. And through your participation, through your bug reports, through your comments and suggestions, a ton of improvements were already made to the Lotus software, miner configuration, gas fees, for example, and many more. And this is going to help us build a more strong and resilient main network when that launches. So we wanted to make sure there was a way to continue these incentives for miners to keep testing, keep improving the network, especially because we identified quite a few really important improvements like window posts and faulting that we want to make sure we get right before mainnet launch. So, SpaceRace 2 is about continuing the incentives, continuing the ability to earn rewards ahead of mainnet so that we can keep those quality improvements flowing, keep those reports coming, and make mainnet the strongest network that we can. And finally, number 1, realistic market simulations. So our best friends, the deal bots, simulated only a very small slice of what will happen when the main network launches. Filecoin's vision as a global marketplace for incentivized, decentralized storage requires actually a whole bunch of different actors. So we've got miners on one hand, many different miners, storage and retrieval miners. But we also, during SpaceRace 1, we didn't have storage clients on the open market. So we constrained that to the bots just to make the competition simple. But in SpaceRace 2, we want to introduce these clients, and then clients will be rewarded for making storage deals with miners on the open market, which you'll hear about very soon. And then conversely, miners will also be rewarded for making these storage deals beyond the bot itself. So we'll have both components. All right, so all of these 3 goals packaged together. What does that mean for SpaceRace 2? I want to talk through some of the details of SpaceRace 2, and we'll be shipping a blog post that will have all the specifics and rules and thresholds for that competition. But we've been getting many questions, and I wanted to make sure that we addressed kind of the big components of the SpaceRace 2 competition. So first of all, when does it start? SpaceRace 2 started the minute that SpaceRace 1 ended. So the sectors that we're counting, or any of the performance goals, will be rolled over starting at 2300 on Monday, September 14th, and they'll continue for at least 3 weeks, possibly longer. We do need a small period to kind of calibrate and update things at the end of the competition before we head into the next phase. So we'll be running at least 3 weeks, possibly longer, and more updates will be coming soon. The first component of Orbital Burn, though, is software. So we've got incremental upgrades coming out all the time. I think you saw 7.1 on Friday. 7.2 is going to have pretty significant refactors. It'll be another optional update, but it'll be really important because it lays the groundwork for 0.80, which is a big network upgrade. So our software will continue to update. We'll be continuing to make announcements ahead of time. The upgrade windows will be a little bit longer. We'll be giving more heads up, that'll be more realistic and building upon the successes we know we have in getting the whole community to come together and make upgrades. So on the software front, you can expect a couple really important things coming through, some major proofs performance upgrades, improvements to window post, improvements to message throughput, and many more. So that's the software side of things. The next phase is storage. So in SpaceRace 2, there won't be a reward pool of Filecoin. Instead, those rewards will be baked directly into how the sectors are migrated to mainnet. So a portion of the sectors sealed during SpaceRace 2, and that includes any sectors you sealed during SpaceRace 1 that you continue to keep active and mine on, will be migrated to mainnet, and that includes pledge collateral. So that's kind of the main source of rewards for SpaceRace 2, and altogether it's actually much greater in magnitude than the rewards even in SpaceRace 1. So we hope and we're excited for miners to keep mining in SpaceRace 2. The third part is deals. I already mentioned this. The deal bots will be coming back online. We are waiting until some software improvements are made on the Lotus side, on the deal bot side, to bring them back on. So you'll have some heads up before the deal bots resume. But more importantly, and even more exciting, is that open deal bots are going to be rewarded, and or open client deals. And earlier in the competition, we saw that if you did not filter your deals, you could be subject to attacks, DDoS attacks, just a lot of throughput from potential clients that weren't necessarily trying to make real storage deals. But we believe that with the Filecoin inflation adjustments and prevention that we've rolled out partway through the competition, that should no longer cause the same kind of trouble that it did early on. And so we're encouraging miners and incentivizing miners to open their deals to the world to support this vision of this global marketplace, global storage network for valuable data. The fourth component is miner onboarding. We've already introduced quite a few new documentation pages for wallet management, configuration. We took note of your many great suggestions during the competition, and we'll be updating that information to try to make it easier to get on board. The faucet for new miners is going to come back. The reimbursement faucet will also be live. Both of those will be subject to a bunch of restrictions so that it will be really hard to abuse. But we do want to address some of the gaps in kind of Filecoin and maintaining balances that many miners ran into at the end of the last competition. So all four of these components together make up the new Orbital burn. Really excited to see you in this next chapter, and we will be posting more details in SpaceRace announced soon. Thanks, miners. Back to you, Aayush.
Thank you very much, Mosh. That's very exciting. I'm sure everyone's looking forward to SpaceRace 2 after having taken just a little bit of a break. Yeah, more details will certainly be coming out soon, but I hope that answered a lot of the questions that folks have already had, and certainly pay attention to the bit about how sectors will be being transferred, or a portion of the sectors will be transferred over. So definitely keep those sectors active and improving if you can, because you'll want to. All right, up next, we have Pooja, who leads the product team here at Filecoin. And she's going to be talking about Operation Slingshot, which is a component of SpaceRace 2 that's going to be opening up the number of folks actually making deals and storing data on Filecoin, which is sort of the side of the coin that maybe wasn't emphasized in the first stage of SpaceRace. So Pooja, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Pooja. Really, really excited to see all of the progress over the last several weeks and to enter this new chapter with SpaceRace 2 and bringing storage clients and developers onto the Filecoin testnet as well. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about SpaceRace 2 Slingshot, or SR2 Slingshot for short. It's a 3-week competition to onboard as much authentic, usable data to the Filecoin testnet as possible. And the first phase of this competition starts in just 2 days. It's on September 23rd, 2020. It begins at 1800 UTC. So a little bit about Slingshot and the context. Mosh covered some of this already, but as we all know, SpaceRace 1 focused on onboarding as much storage capacity as possible to the network. SR2 Slingshot is focused on onboarding as much authentic and useful data as possible to the network. And this includes, data that's being stored by many of the various products and applications and businesses and users that Colin mentioned in the ecosystem presentation. But we're really looking to create an opportunity for all these really valuable data sets and all these users that are looking to use Filecoin as their decentralized storage network of choice to actually begin storing that data on the network in preparation for mainnet launch. Similar to the way that the rewards were structured for SpaceRace 1, the SR2 Slingshot prize pool is collaborative and competitive at the same time. So it's a prize pool that grows as the amount of real data on the network increases. And it will also be distributed proportionally between all of the competitors in this competition based on the amount of storage that each of them is onboarding onto the network, based on the amount of data that they're onboarding onto the network. Our goal over the next several weeks is to onboard 10 petabytes or more of real data onto the network to unlock the maximum prize pool of 500,000 Filecoin. And we will, monitor how the competition is going. There's definitely potential to unlock more rewards as well if we vastly exceed our expectations. You can read more about the competition rules and see the leaderboard when the competition launches at this website. It's slingshot.filecoin.io. So as I mentioned, this competition is currently, the rewards are more oriented towards storage clients and developers who are looking to bring their data to the Filecoin network. But obviously, the mining community is an essential part of this competition as well. And as Mosh mentioned, there will be rewards for kind of serving this the storage capacity and storage side of what, basically where clients and developers are looking to store their data. So miners are a critical component of Slingshot as well. And what Slingshot is going to create is this condition where there are many users who are looking to make storage deals with miners on the network. So the Slingshot administrative team is working on maintaining kind of this recommended list of miners for storage clients and developers. We're basically going to work with the Orbital burn team and understand which miners are maintaining their dialability, their connectivity, are continuing to accept storage and retrieval deals, and not just from the deal bots, but also from clients and developers on the network. This will be kind of not a prescription, but just a recommended list for users who are looking to store their data on the network. And as long as you're doing the same things that you were doing for SpaceRace 1, maintaining your connectivity, accepting storage and retrieval deals from storage clients, you'll be on this list and essentially be eligible to earn SR2 Slingshot testnet tokens for participating, and also Orbital burn rewards for serving the needs of these storage clients and developers. Once the competition launches on Wednesday, we will also be maintaining a list of the various users that are trying to store data on the network on the leaderboard. And so in case you want to kind of keep a pulse on who's looking to store their data on the network, if you want to maintain allow lists or things like this, you should be able to do that by looking at the Slingshot leaderboard. I also wanted to open an invitation to this entire community to also participate in this competition. This is a network-wide goal for us to hit this 10 PB target of authentic and usable data being stored on the network. And anyone in the community is welcome to help us achieve that goal. If you are not already building an application that intends to use Filecoin for storage, maybe this is an opportunity to kind of take advantage of this moment where there are lots of resources and debugging help and so on, and help for the team, and obviously the Filecoin rewards as well, to actually give that a shot and help the whole community reach this target. So same thing, if you would like to participate in this competition, you can register at the same website. And it's important to know kind of the dates. It's a 3-week competition, as I mentioned before, starting this Wednesday at 1800 UTC, and it'll end exactly 3 weeks later on October 14th, also at 1800 UTC. We also have a video that we recorded that we launched last week that kind of explains some of the rules of the competition in a slightly more fun way as well. So would recommend that you check that out. And just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone for participating in this community and making Filecoin great. Really excited to launch SR2 Slingshot and have the fun continue. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Pooja. Yeah, God, I think everyone's excited for the other half of Filecoin, and I think Slingshot promises to be a great time. Definitely excited to get more details and for the kickoff on Wednesday. All right, next up we have Angie McGuire, who's probably a familiar face to a lot of you. She heads events and communications for Filecoin, and she's also the woman in those incredible SpaceRace news bulletin videos that have been put out that I think has made her and all of Filecoin famous. So over to you, Angie.
I think you're too kind there, Aayush. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to everybody else. It's just so wonderful to look back on an amazing 3 weeks. I got the biggest honor, I think. I got to kind of cover all of the excitement. So let's take a quick look back on what happened. In the last 3 weeks, we hosted over 10 events. Sorry, 2 seconds there. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. Skipping. We hosted over 10 events. Ian mentioned that there were 18 events overall. We had many community members participate as well and run their own events, which was awesome. We had thousands of participants from across the globe, including we did 1 opening ceremony, 3 live AMAs, 3 miner show and tells, 3 technical workshops, and 3 SpaceRace reports. So thanks so much to all of you who presented, participated, and tuned into these events. They gave us a valuable opportunity to connect, learn, and build with each other. If you missed anything, then please don't worry. You can catch up on our YouTube channel, which is linked here in the chat. And you can also look at the AMA summaries on the Filecoin blog. Those are super useful. They tend to be the questions that everybody's asking, and we post a summary the next day after they happen. So if you've got any questions at the moment, we just hosted one last week, and you can check out all the information on the Filecoin blog. We really enjoyed the last few weeks. I had a blast. I hope you did too. I'm so grateful for all of the community members. Ian mentioned some of our community champions and some of the people who hosted workshops. They participated in the miner show and tells, and it's just amazing to see the community kind of stepping forward and engaging and hosting their own events as well. And we're always here if you're excited about hosting events. Talk to us in Slack. We're here to support you, yeah, we're excited to see more of that in SR2. Speaking of which, what is coming up in SR2? Well, we listened to your feedback, and we're excited to be presenting more great events for you. We did decide to give you a slight break. I think everyone was tired after SpaceRace 1, but as we go into SpaceRace 2, we'll be keeping some of the events that you really enjoyed and adding some more great events for the Slingshot part. So we have got, this is the upcoming week. So tomorrow we're going to have a SpaceRace Report special celebration edition hosted by yours truly. Keep a lookout for that. Then on Wednesday, we've got SpaceRace Slingshot launch, which will be awesome. So please tune in for that if you can. Following that, we'll have our weekly Wednesday AMA with the Filecoin team. So if you've got burning questions about SpaceRace 2 and about anything else to do with Filecoin, please join us there. And then on Thursdays, everyone's favorite is the miner show and tell. Some of our North American miners will be joining us to tell us about their setups, their hardware, their architecture, and teams. So we're really excited to have you join us at those events. If you want to know what's coming up, then please check out spacerace.filecoin/events or check out the Slingshot channel as well. And as always, Emily and I will be posting upcoming events in the Filecoin Slack. Thank you so much to everyone who's participated, and best of luck with SpaceRace 2. Happy mining. Back to you, Aayush.
Thanks a lot, Angie. That's a pretty packed week you have coming up. I'm sure everyone's looking forward to it, and for similar stuff in the weeks to come with SpaceRace 2. Thanks a lot. All right. Next up, we have our founder Juan to talk about how SpaceRace went, as well as sort of why we're all here and why we're excited to move into SpaceRace 2 and mainnet coming up. Juan, over to you.
Thank you so much, Aayush. One sec, let me share my screen. All right, can we see that?
Yes.
Great, thank you. I am incredibly excited to be here with everyone celebrating SpaceRace. This has been really a tremendous set of weeks, and a massive culmination of what for many of us has been a very, very long journey. So the Filecoin began, even like just the rough idea of Filecoin, began in 2014, early 2014. So for me, at least, it's been like a 6-year journey to be where we are today. And for a lot of us who have joined the project over time, it has been many years of a lot of hard work to build and boot a new ecosystem and a new economy and a new network for the future. So it's phenomenal to be here and be celebrating this kind of like massive moment with a community. And so I wanted to when we started on Ignite and started having a whole bunch of events ahead of mainnet launch, we didn't really know what we were gonna get, and suddenly all kinds of events started happening. And we said, how are we possibly going to top that last event, right? So many things started happening that were really amazing. And right before the SpaceRace started, we had just had the Hackfest finale, where a whole bunch of people presented awesome applications and systems that using IPFS and Filecoin and other parts of the stack, and Ethereum and a whole host of things. And it was such an amazing creative event. It was like, how can we possibly top that? And we sailed straight from that into the SpaceRace, which was just an amazing set of weeks with all kinds of trials and tribulations and great moments. We have like the whole network massively stress tested. We did a whole bunch of upgrades, And we achieved like this phenomenal and enormous amount of storage. The capacity here is phenomenal. I was really blown away by the level that we reached here. I did not expect that we would be able to amass as a group this kind of massive, awesome storage. So it's phenomenal to be here where we are. Huge kudos to you, the participants of SpaceRace that made this possible. All of the folks that contributed to the whole network, whether it's by adding a lot of storage yourselves or by helping debug a bunch of things and helping improve the protocol and the system, or by helping out other people and helping them get going, help them debug. This is exactly what the community is for and about. Like this is, we're building this stuff together, and so it's been really, really amazing to see that kind of activity happen. And this is really our shared results, right? So when we, things like leaderboards and so on, always, in these competitions, it's so easy to get caught up in the, oh, I'm over here and this other person's over here, and you get into kind of that competition moment. But it was phenomenal to see, just in the space race, the level of help and community building that happened. So many people banding together to solve problems and to help each other out. And at the end of the day, it's our shared achievement all together to reach this kind of level. So it's really an amazing achievement. I don't think this is, it's very hard for us to, in kind of the fast-pacedness of space race and everything that's going on, to kind of pause and reflect. But 230 petabytes of storage, and I think we're close to 280 or something like that. Last I looked. That level of storage has never been assembled by a group in a community like this, in an economy like this, and in a network like this. This is a fundamentally new level of achievement, and we really should be. We're celebrating that now, but it's one of these kind of like first events to happen, similar to how the very first time that a transaction on Bitcoin was made. That was a very important event, similar to. Even kind of like when testing out Bitcoin, even before kind of like the launching the network, and even kind of Ethereum. When I remember, even before the Ethereum mainnet was launched, when the Ethereum project, where all of the community got together and was testing out all of the implementations that we were finalizing, and we were figuring out a whole bunch of pieces and things were working or not working, and like deploying smart contracts. The last final bits were getting figured out, and that that moment is a very important moment in the history of Web3 and the internet, that a lot of us will remember. Likewise here now, this moment with SpaceRace and this kind of level of achievement, this is a phenomenal and really important moment for the entire Web3 movement and the internet as a whole. It's the very first time when a network like this was built. So feel really proud of contributing to this. The folks, whether you added storage, whether you helped organize it. By the way, a huge thank you and kudos to the entire team of people that have been running and operating the space race. We say and talk a lot about how hard and grueling it was to like add all of this storage and do all this for 3 weeks. But the team building and running the space race and doing this putting on this event together has also been like an amazingly challenging thing, and huge kudos and thank you to every single person who participated in this. So this has been a phenomenal achievement, a monumental thing. It's kind of like a world history level event, and that we and other people will write about in the future. So what's next? You heard all about Orbital Burn and Slingshot. I wanted to give you a bit of a kind of like my suggestions or recommendations. This is my view. You can take it or dismiss it. Really here, there's a lot that you can do to get learn about Filecoin, learn how things work, explore the space. This kind of like quiet period where you can kick the tires and test out a lot of things, and you can go and figure out how to if you haven't been a miner before and you're just tuning into this whole world, you can try doing that. If you have been mining and you haven't been on the other side and you tried storing things or building applications, you can go and explore that side of things. As a miner, you can take this moment to just maintain your operations and regroup as a team and kind of like optimize your setups and so on. You can think of this as kind of like a calm period before like the year ahead of a lot of activity. You can also grow your storage. You can really lean into this and use it as a time when to start growing a lot of your storage and reach larger capacities and so on. It's very interesting to see right now, even after SpaceRace 2, a lot of miners went quiet, and then a couple of them started adding a lot of storage really quickly because I think they were paying attention closely to the rewards, and they realized just how good the rewards were, and then just have been adding a ton of storage. And so I think then later other miners caught up to that, and like now they're adding more storage. So it's like really kind of exciting thing. But you can do that. You can also just practice a lot of the flows. You can work on internal tooling. You can open source a lot of stuff. We would love to help mining groups help each other out. And if miners are withholding things because they think it gives them an advantage, maybe this is a time to kind of like crowd source rewards for those folks. And so we can think of things like that, whether it's through grants or other ways to help the community build up more tooling. And you can just really focus on maintaining and growing your operations. As a miner, though, you can also kind of come over to Slingshot and start working with clients and practicing storage deal flows with them. And you can maybe meet some of them and start building relationships. You can start thinking about what are their deal flow requirements going to be in the future, what kind of application storage they're going to need. You can work on helping bring more clients to the network, tell them about this stuff. And now the clients, on the client side, this is really a really big moment for you. You can take this moment to think about the kind of data that would be extremely useful and valuable to onboard into the Filecoin network, that might be really valuable to use in applications, or really valuable to build into systems. Think of all kinds of really useful and valuable public data sets that might be great to have. So think of all kinds of data sets of open access papers, or scientific data of various different kinds, or even kind of like think of like the Flickr data set with tons of like really valuable open source images. All of that kind of stuff, all of those really rich, valuable data sets, we can put onto a shared network. And if we do the work together to onboard all of these really useful, valuable data sets, then all these applications that can be built on top of that are going to be way easier to make, so that you as an application don't have to get all of the data set and build the app. If we as a community kind of onboard all these really useful and valuable data sets now, we can then kind of develop apps on top of those. I would be really excited to see either single developers or groups who go and like find a really valuable data set and then bring it onto the network, and then start building multiple different applications that use the same data set. Like that would be really, really amazing. Like maybe if one group goes and builds an application around visualizing map data, and maybe another person takes that exact same data and uses it to maybe overlay images on top, where like those are public photos of important places and so on. We have a really, really special and valuable network here where everything is content addressed. You can reference each other's data if it's public or encrypted under shared keys and so on. You can build applications that build on each other's components, and that's going to be a really, really magical ground for building the applications of the future, and really is the Web3 promise. We now have the kind of infrastructure ready for that. It's not yet. Now is the time to add all of the data, and then the application. Then we can focus on building those applications. Just, I think, a really, really great opportunity for you now. And of course, you can just practice the whole work of like doing storage deal flows and retrieval deal flows and so on. I think a lot of clients, so the retrieval market is not a fully fleshed out thing. So clients will retrieving things and so on. I think the best pathway will be use awesome things like PowerGate to build your applications, so that you can get all the fast retrieval facilities that PowerGate has. Look at things like Slate as to how Slate achieved all this. And I think it's a really good time to think through your applications and how they'll get developed. It's also a good time for all the HackFest folks to come back and deploy their applications here, and participate in yet another event and yet another awesome thing. Cool. So those are kind of like my recommendations, and you can really think of this as like this period of SpaceRace 2 and as a point where both sides of the Filecoin market are kind of like coming in large groups and testing things out and getting to know each other and building things. And so it's a really kind of meet and greet moment for the community to form. And so, I really look forward to seeing a whole bunch of data sets and applications join the network. I'd love to see, for example, the Audius data set, like all of that. If somebody grabs that and puts it on Filecoin, that would be really, really awesome, and that would enable a lot of cool applications. And I would also love to see what kinds of integrations could happen with all of the awesome work that that the whole IPFS project is doing around getting browser support and getting things to integrate. So imagine if we during this period in SpaceRace 2, we got a cool application that was working directly from the browser to store and retrieve data from the Filecoin network without any intermediary. That would be like super cool. Right now, I think we're still going through some kind of hosted instances of things or certain nodes, but I think getting to that I think would be really awesome. And yes, I mean, again, this is a really important moment for the whole community. There's a lot of stuff going on. You can also take it as a time to get to know other groups, get to know, get to plan out like the future for your organization and for your teams. If it wasn't 2020 and there wasn't kind of like this pandemic and so on, this would be a great time for all of us to get together and have a really large conference, something like DevCon and so on. In the future, I'd love to be able to do something like that. And so, with that, like, a big reminder that we're building an economy together. We're building, we have a lot of the infrastructure laid out. We have a lot of the pieces and the systems put together. We have a lot of the data starting to flow in, and we're kind of like booting this economy in stages, and we're getting super close. Really hope to see a lot of this this continues to develop. And really kind of where we are is here. We're like very super close. It's a lot closer. Like the last time you saw this image, like we've made a ton of progress. We're like super close to mainnet. The rocket is like this is kind of testnet. We're in the space race. We like are propping up the rocket and so on, and we're getting ready for the big liftoff, right? So like the liftoff is coming soon. We're in this kind of like last preparation moments. And with that, I open this talking a little bit about the journey. Really let's remember why we're all doing this. We're making a new contribution to computing infrastructure. Things like Web3 are helping advance the internet and how we do things. For many of us, the thing that brings us here is trying to make the web and the internet much more verifiable. And a lot of us are doing everything that we're doing, all of our systems and all of our protocols, our applications, all of our network building, hoping to build something better for the future. We know just how important and powerful computing is. We know how important and transformative these technological revolutions are. And we know just how important the long-term development of these things is, like the many kind of years and years of work. So it's an exciting time. It's a big journey for a lot of us. Many of us have been here doing this for 3 to 6 years. There's 3 or 6 years ahead. Who knows where we'll be in 3 years. Think about Ethereum and the Ethereum community, like, right when it was forming or right before when their mainnet launched, right after, and the amazing stuff that has happened in Ethereum up until now. And I urge you to remember, like, what are the kinds of superpowers that we could be helping develop with Filecoin, right? As we build out this great infrastructure for the network, what kinds of things you would like to see? What kinds of systems do you think Filecoin can improve in the early stages? What kinds of applications you would like to see, and write about them. I really encourage you now. This is an important kind of community moment where, for the last months, we've seen just a lot of folks coming onto the network and starting to develop their own voices and started writing their own perspectives and their own thoughts. Protocol Labs is still doing a lot of stuff and getting us ready to launch the network and so on. But really, we're at a moment where at this point it's really you, the community, that is going to define the future. And so really invite you as a moment in this moment to reflect on what you want Filecoin to be and how you want Filecoin to work in the future, and write about it, and just start putting your thoughts on blog posts and so on, and really give us a vision for the future. Give us your perspective. What kinds of superpowers you think we could build together? What kinds of things you think the community should be and working on together? And over time, that would lead to kind of improvements, new applications, and things you think we should do as a whole community, and improvement proposals. So one of the main things that a number of folks are doing is booting up the Filecoin improvement proposal system, so that a lot of you can go and start making your own proposals for improvements into the network. So that'll be a good moment. And maybe lastly, I'll remind us all that really think about how to if you find things that are if you look ahead and you think about something really amazing and you think, oh, it'd be great to if somebody made this, you have two options. That you should write about it, and so that somebody else makes it, or most likely you'll get it a lot more certain if you go and make it yourself. So really encourage you. This is a great moment for you to invent what the next few years hold for Web3. Thank you so much. Thank you for building Filecoin with us. Thank you for contributing to this decentralized, efficient, and robust foundation for humanity's information. We couldn't be happier to be building it with you. This is a really phenomenal moment for us as a community, and really looking forward to the many years to come. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of the folks participating in SpaceRace and the organizers.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bye.